Does this look familiar to you? You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're running up to the non-volley zone line only to get smashed and smashed and smashed again. If we haven't met before, my name is Tony Roig. That's me right there playing in nationals in the senior pro division, working my way up to the non-volley zone line without getting smashed. If you want to know why videos like this are different than the other videos that you see in the pickleball world and why they might help your game more, I'll put a link up here that'll help you understand better why these videos are the ones you want to watch. In this coaching session, I'm going to help you avoid the slamathon that you may feel from time to time when you're playing out there. First, we're going to start with the what. What is going on with your game? Why are you getting slammed so often? I'm going to share with you a powerful tool that you can start using right now to build the muscles that you need to reduce the number of slams that you feel in a game. We're going to look at how the pros do it, how the pros avoid getting slammed all the time when they're playing out there. The good news is these are things that you can do as well right now if you start with a tool that we're going to share with you. And I'm also going to share with you the resource that you can go to if you want to go much deeper on your transition zone play and maximize how you get up to the non-volley zone line. So why exactly are we getting slammed when we're moving from the baseline up to the non-volley zone line? Why are we having difficulty navigating this transition zone, and how do we fix it? As we move through this problem, it's important to keep in mind that we do in fact want to get up to the non-volley zone line as often as possible. The more rallies that we can play from up here, the higher a chance for success. That's a fundamental principle of pickleball play, and it's part of what we refer to as the FOSS approach. The more you embrace the FOSS approach, the better you'll understand the game and the better you're going to play. So the problem is not with the idea of playing up at the non-volley zone line. That is a sound idea. The problem is in the execution of the idea. The problem is in the way that we're doing it. So what exactly is the problem with how you're doing it? If we can define the problem, then we'll be better able to see the solution. And you'll understand why the tool that I'm going to share with you will help you start reducing the number of times you're getting slammed out there. The problem originates from incomplete advice that every single pickleball player out there has heard multiple times since they began playing pickleball. And it is other players yelling at new players to get up to the line. We hear get up to the line again and again and again. And we start following this incomplete advice and we just move forward without thought of what's going on when the third shot is hit. The result of following this incomplete advice is getting slammed with the ball. Because, and here's a secret I want to share with you, you are becoming the target. When you are the player moving forward on an attackable third shot, your opponents by nature are going to attack you because you're the player who's moving up. And in fact, it's the best strategy that they're following is to attack the player who's close up because they can overcome your defenses easier than they can your partner who's hanging back after hitting the shot. So when you move forward based on incomplete advice, the result is getting slammed because you have become the target. Now, as I mentioned earlier, getting to the line in pickleball, getting up to the non-volley zone line is a good thing in pickleball. But we want to get there under control. And the way we do that is by becoming aware of the conditions. We want to be aware of the conditions. When we move up without being aware of the conditions, we're moving up not under control. That is when we become the target, and that is when we are unnecessarily being smashed repeatedly with the balls hit by our opponents. Before you move forward, you want to know that the conditions are favorable for your movement. Favorable conditions mean that your opponents are not able to hit an attack on their fourth shot. To be clear, that's the shot that they're hitting right after the third. So your partner in this case is hitting the third. Your opponents are going to hit a fourth back at you. And this is the ball that's generally getting slammed as you move up to the non-volley zone line. And this getting slammed with the ball is unnecessary. The reality is that most players in rec play games are not particularly good at hitting an unattackable third shot that won't get slammed at you when you're moving in. That's why you get slammed so often. Now, I'm going to let this player off the hook, okay? Because it is not the quality of their shot that is causing you to get slammed in these situations. The problem is with where you are putting your body at the time of the slam. The problem is with your court positioning, not with the shot that your partner hit. A bit of tough love here, because I want you to stop getting slammed with so many balls, and the only way for that to happen is for me to share with you the reality of what's going on. When you are getting slammed with balls early in a rally, it is because of a decision that you made or that you did not make. What I mean is, if you're simply running up there without considering the conditions, then that's on you. Your partner is not responsible for where your body is on the court, and your opponents are only hitting the ball to you because it makes sense, right? You're making yourself a target and they're slamming it at you. The only person who can control where your body is you. Now, the good news is that you have the agency to do this, to reduce the number of times that you're getting slammed with the ball, again, unnecessarily. As you're going to see in a minute with the pro breakdown we're going to do, you're going to see that the pros are moving in when it makes sense to move in based on the conditions that they're seeing. They're not just moving in because somebody yelled at them to move in. That is not how it works. And you do not need to do that either, right? You can do the same thing they're doing. Now, the reason you're moving forward, right, without considering the conditions, is because of that incomplete advice we talked about earlier, right? That advice that other players are giving you, get to the line, get to the line. Now, if you want the full statement should be, get to the line as soon as you can, given the circumstances and conditions and your ability to move through the transition zone under control, right? That'd be the full statement. Now, while we're on the subject of other players telling you what to do, be very careful with that. No offense to your friends, they mean well, but they often lack the sufficient understanding of the game or of what you need, right? Because you're a unique player. What you need right now in order to continue getting better, in order to play your best pickleball. My professional advice to you is to ignore your friends. See this little barrier here? Create a barrier between anybody at the court or some unknown person coming through your YouTube system or whatever, trying to tell you how to play pickleball. Don't listen to them. Find qualified professionals. I'm a qualified professional. My fellow co-coach at Better Pickleball, CJ Johnson, as a pickleball professional, our entire Better Pickleball coaching team are pickleball professionals, right? That's where you want to get your pickleball tips from. And if you're not already on our email list, I'll put a link up here. You can join our email list and get our tips that we send out in our emails, and otherwise know that you're getting accurate information. Let's take a look at how the pros avoid getting slammed. And remember, you too can do the same. Now that we have a better understanding of what happens to us, why we're getting slammed early in rallies, let's look at the pros and learn from them. What is it that they do to not get slammed so early in rallies? Now, a side note here. Even the pros get slammed from time to time when they move up to the non-Volley Zone line, so you're not alone. The difference is that the pros don't get slammed so often. Usually what they're doing is they are assessing the conditions before they move forward to determine if everything's okay. If the conditions are not favorable to moving forward, then you're going to see the pros hang back and wait for a better opportunity. Once the conditions improve, that's when they start moving forward. One of the best players at assessing the conditions before moving forward and not getting slammed in that movement is the #1 men's doubles player in the world, Dylan Frazier, who you're seeing here move forward up to the non-Volley Zone line under control. You can learn exactly how he does it with a resource he has created sharing his approach. It's available exclusively at the Better Pickleball Academy. I'm going to put a link up here, and you can check out that resource and learn exactly the way Dylan does it. The good news is that you too can avoid getting slammed by using these techniques. What you're going to do is you're going to assess the conditions to find the conditions that are suitable for movement. If the conditions look bleak, looks like they have the hammer up and they're going to be ready to attack you, you're going to hang back and wait for a better opportunity. Once the conditions improve and you can move forward, that's when you're going to make your way up to the non-Volley Zone line under control. I'm going to share with you now a powerful tool that you can use to start developing this important skill and avoid getting slammed. Now that we have an understanding of why we're getting slammed so often, and we've seen an alternative, which is how the pros do it, which is something that we can do as well, let me share with you a powerful tool that you can start adding to your game to play much better pickleball. Think of adding this tool as a muscle. You're going to need to work on it some in order to really bring it into your game. And even though we're focusing on the slams right now, this muscle here is a muscle that you can apply to all parts of your game. As we get into the tool, remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember what I said earlier about controlling your journey, controlling the information you receive. You can trust the information on this channel is going to be actionable and helpful to you because we know what we're talking about. The tool is recognition. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to use it and how to bring it into your game. But it's the idea of having a better understanding of what's going on in the core and how it impacts your actions. In this case, specifically, your movement from the baseline up to the non-volley zone line. I want you to start here. And it's just a fundamental question of recognition. Did you make an assessment? So the next time you get slammed early in a rally, okay, take a moment and ask yourself whether you assessed the conditions or moved up blindly, okay? If you did not assess, no big deal. Just note it. The first step in improving is going to be recognizing something that you want to do that you're currently not doing. Now, if you assessed and the conditions were different than you thought, that's fine. You can still answer, yes, I assess. So you'll move on to the next one. But if you're not asking the fundamental question, if you're not assessing to begin with, right, that's the fundamental question that you want to ask yourself first. Now, once you're recognizing, right, the error after the fact, right, that's the assessment. That's looking backward, right? I did or did not assess. So once you're recognizing that you are assessing, move on to recognizing the quality of the third shot hit by you or hit by your partner. Is the shot attackable or unattackable? Recognition of the shot quality is the next step in the process of reducing the amount of slams you get and, by extension, improving your movement through the transition zone. Now remember that anything that you work on in pickleball is going to be a process. It's going to take time to develop these skills, including recognition. Be kind and patient with yourself as you continue to work on your game and grow as a pickleball player. I'll see you in our next lesson together.